everyone, and welcome to prompt number 59. Only 10 more until Nevermind. Okay, so here we go. We have pumpkin seed, okay, and pine cone. Okay, alright. Just a couple of weird ones, I guess, just a seed and a pine cone. Here we go. I felt like this prompt was just a little bit on the harder side to come up with something because, like I said, just a couple of weird things put together, and I feel like they're such small objects, they're such small parts of something, and I just felt like, how am I supposed to make something big out of this? So I was getting sort of a fall feel because pine cones are fall-y for some reason, and pumpkins are more of a fall thing. But even then, it's just a seed and a pine cone, so what the heck am I supposed to do with that? The only thing I could think of was ingredients. So pine cones aren't something I don't feel like that humans use often, but I figure maybe a witch can use pine cones to brew stuff, right? I originally made this witch extracting the seeds from a pumpkin so that she could use them to bake with or stew with or something. And then I forgot the pine cone, so I had to go back and just kind of put them on her as accessories. I just wasn't feeling it, so I also thought about making a pattern. Whenever I have a prompt that I'm just not 100% sure of what to do with, I think, well, what if I make like a cute little pattern or something? So one day, I'm sure I will make a cute little pattern out of one of these prompts when I just don't know what to do. So as you can tell, I did go with the witch extracting the seed situation, but I didn't want to do just a witch because I'll admit it, I draw way too many women and I do want to make myself draw more boys or men. So I thought I would make this into a boy witch, or I guess a wizard. I feel like you just don't see many wizards that are number one boys and number two aren't wearing a blue cloak with a blue pointy hat with stars on it. So I was like, well, let's make a boy that's like a witch-like person that is just like wearing some spooky, cute clothes and they're doing their job. So what I was thinking with this character is that he's a boy living in the woods and maybe he's an apprentice for a witch or he's running a small business or something. And he does his stuff by extracting the ingredients from things like the seeds from pumpkins or tearing off the little pieces of a pine cone. I don't even know what that's called. I could probably Google it. But basically, he gets ingredients and puts them into bottles and then sells them to witches in the forest. And that's how he stays in business, or I guess how he feeds himself and stuff like that. So instead of being an expert in potion making or something like that, transforming, whatever witches do for a job, he gathers ingredients. So as you can see, because the prompts were pumpkin seed and pine cone, he is using his magic to take each little seed out perfectly and put it into this jar. And as you can see, he already did his job with the pine cones, so there's a couple of pine cones sitting on the floor because they couldn't fit into the jar, and there is a jar full of the pine cone pieces. Okay, fine, I'll look up what it's called. How do you even search this? Pine cone pieces? Oh, what are the leaves of a pine cone called? Is it leaves? Aren't a pine cone like a seed or something? Well, that's something else I can look up. What the heck is a pine cone? Okay, it's... what? Seed cone, that's what I thought. Unlocking the secrets of the pine cone. Wow. Okay, here we go. Okay, it makes seeds. Oh, there are male and female cones. Wow, today I learned. Okay, but what are the things called? Wait, this one is called scales. That kind of sounds gross, like a fish. Well, I didn't get a short answer, but it might be scale, it might be leaf. Scale is kind of cool because it does remind me of a fish in the way that it stacks. Today we learned about cones, though I'm sure you guys will have some fresh cone facts for me in the comments. Well, I'm glad we just spent 15 minutes of real time, but 1 minute edited down, looking up pine cones. So good job me, I hope you guys weren't bored. So back to talking about the drawing. Before I colored this character in, I was really worried that it was going to look way too similar to Wirt from Over the Garden Wall because, well, he has a pointy hat and he has a cloak of some sort. And I was just worried that this character was just basically going to be a recolor. Even though I made this kid have long hair and I gave him shorts and pointy shoes, it was just like the face and the style and especially that pointy hat. It kind of sucks that you can't just give a character some sort of feature like a pointy hat without it looking too much like someone else, but in the end, once it was colored, I think I did a pretty good job of making it not look like Wirt from Over the Garden Wall. So good job, me. I sure did that thing good. I already get so many comments with people telling me that my style looks like Over the Garden Wall as is, so having a character that looked really similar to the show, it really scared me, but yeah, I think I dodged that one. Something I've learned when doing this drawing is that I really don't like the color orange. Something about it is really easy to get like a really gross neon color, which is why I don't really like the color purple. I like sort of bluish purpley colors, and I think the same is for orange. I like a good red orange, but if it's just too orange itself, it can get really neon-y, and I just don't like how bright it is, I guess. I'm not really sure. That's how I feel about yellow. I like a good mustard yellow or like an orangey yellow color. And even my greens, I feel like if it's too grass green, I don't really like it. I like a good sap green or blue-green color. I get really particular about some of my colors. I really don't like them if they're just too bright and in my face, especially when I use a lot of earthy tones. It just stands out a lot, I think, and it's just like, ugh, this does not belong here, and it looks horrible. So now that I have a chance to watch myself redraw this as I'm looking at the finished piece, I think my one and only regret with this piece is that I drew the magic in, which you will be seeing soon enough. I drew like blue magic that was kind of levitating and showing the motion of the seeds and the pumpkin floating. But to be honest, looking at it right now, I think it would be really cool if there was just nothing there. Sometimes I think about whenever a lot of people, including myself, draw witches, we draw stuff glowing as it floats or something, but when you think about it, wouldn't it just kind of float there with nothing happening? It's represented that way in a lot of movies and stuff, and to be honest, I don't know why I keep drawing it. I think maybe it's the difference between actually watching something move and looking at an illustration where something is just kind of there. You need to, I guess, represent that it's actually moving or that it's floating there and that you didn't just accidentally put a pumpkin floating in the sky. So I think my one and only regret is that the colors were just too dark and too intense for the magic, and this is why I was so hesitant to even do little glowing things around it, because I feel like I always mess up the glowing magic bits. So I did the trail instead, and really I think it might have just looked cool if I just left it blank. Oh well, lesson learned. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this prompt, and I will see you at the end card. So I've been meaning to do this sort of featured segment at the end when I show all of the fan prompts, but I keep putting the prompts off until the last minute and then I don't have time, so I feel really bad. But this week I was able to, and I am now introducing a sort of featured segment where I can talk about one prompt that I really enjoyed this week. And this week it is by P. Palganmats. Wow, I hope that's not your real name or I feel like a butt. Palganmats. Why you guys always do this to me? It was so different than any of the other prompts that I saw, especially even from me. It was just so interesting to see an outside thing featured on the inside in the kitchen. So you have the mountains in the basket. It looks like it could be bread. I would eat those mountains. We've got the forest around the sink. Well, the forest is all over the place, let's be honest. We have the ocean on the ground where there's a lovely little beach. And there's a desert on top of the cabinets and also inside the microwave, which is really adorable for some reason. I don't know why. But this was just so interesting and I really enjoyed this prompt. I would have never expected to find these things in a kitchen. So thank you so much for putting your all in the prompts. I actually always enjoy your prompts. I hope you guys continue to join. It has been so much fun to look at them as usual. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!